Oh, hey. Didn't see you there. Welcome back to Gather and Restore in the Workshop with Rebecca. No, I mean, welcome back to Gather and Restore in the Workshop with Claire.
Featuring Rebecca. You're so cute.
Thanks. So today is going to be a little bit different because instead of Mom, aka Claire, asking all the questions to the audience, then I will be in front of the screen rather than behind the scenes asking her the questions.
That's right.
So today is all about Restored and how it became to be and what she aspires for it to be in the future. So Mom, people often see Restored as your cozy workshop and the furniture that you restore and the community that you're building, but they don't really know what came before it. So will you share with us what season of life led for you to creating Restored and how it became to be?
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to do that. I believe that we go through seasons of life where we feel like we have it all together and then we don't. And for me, that moment came quietly, and it was a convergence of things, not just one, you know, physical change, emotional burnout, and relational loss as well as grief. And I realized that I didn't really have the words for it. And so I was depleted, and I feel like depletion as a way of stripping you down and to the essentials, basically, for me. So I questioned things that I never questioned before, not because my faith was gone, but because I was being refined. So I didn't feel strong, no capable, or not even sure. But I was still there, and I think that's how Restored came about. It came from a place where I was invited into a season of restoration.
And yet restoration didn't come from nothing. So how did you build this? Where did you start?
It didn't start out from nowhere. I was restoring furniture since 2017, and it was a hobby. You know, it was something that brought me joy. It's something that I did as a mean of connecting with people. It was something I did. It was never something I was invited into. But in that season of my life a year ago, being stripped down to the bare essential, all I could do was work with my hands because I didn't have the words to process the pain that I was going through at the time. And I think that was important because if you remember, I was smoothing down the wall of the living.
Yeah.
And every day, you know, with what do you call that? I'm blanking out right here.
You're
for
asking
the wall.
The wrong person.
A Patty's knife, something like that. You know, I decided the texture on the wall, I was going to keep busy, and I was smoothing down the wall while processing this pain, the scars, whatever that I was dealing in at the time. There was no grand master plan, no grand vision. God didn't come down from heaven and say, you're going to start a business. It was just me trying to figure out something. And while I was working on that, there was a willingness to step out. There was this desire to heal, and I connected it with restoration. I was invited to restoration rather than a hobby I was practicing.
From what I'm hearing, it wasn't really an invitation. It was more of a cease and desist from the Lord. So...
Yes, you can call it that, but you know, I was willing, and that was enough.
That's the only important part. Spare the details.
Yeah.
So do you want to share with them what changed? When did you start seeing Restored as a business rather than, you know, just a hobby?
Well, I guess after a few months of smoothing down my walls, and processing the grief that I was going through, I realized something is that, you know, there's a message between healing and restoration and working with your hands. And so while I was working with my hands, I listened to someone who had a lot of wisdom to share. Not you. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Her name is Mel Robbins. And so The Let Them Theory was the book I was listening to during that moment. And I want to thank personally Mel Robbins, because there's something very important in that book that she mentioned is like, no one is coming to rescue you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was an F word into it.
Yeah,
and you gotta love Mel Robbins for that. But more importantly, I was like, it hit me. No one is coming. No one is going to come and just choose life, choose to heal, choose to change, choose to take a step. I had to do it for myself. It didn't have to be dramatic or liberally. It just, I just had to take a step in faith. And I had to choose to just get up. I had to choose to show up for myself. And for me, that's where faith entered, and knowing that the actions that I was going to take was actually going to bring the healing, and not the other way around. I was not to wait until I had it all together. I just need to take a step, and another step, and another step. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even know that it was going to lead to Restored. I just knew, hey, let me put myself out there, let me put my skills, and let's start somewhere. And that's how Restored began. It was not really polished. There was not, again, a grand vision, or it was not really planned, but it was chosen, like us. I was chosen for this, and Restored became a chosen story for me. So again, thank you, Mel Robbins, for the good kick in the butt.
So if I can segue a little bit off of what we're talking about with Mel Robbins, what did accepting your past hurt help you with that striving never could have?
That's a good one. It's acceptance taught me that I had to accept that who I was no longer. And to me, that is surrender. Accepting that the past no longer exists, and that I am becoming something different. The version of me in the past mattered, but it belonged in the past, and I had to surrender that, the hurt, the emotional burnout, the relation loss, maybe some of the ownership I had. I just had to accept. But for me, that surrender needed to equal, I'm not giving up. And I think that's the hard thing, is we think when we accept or surrender, it's giving up. It really isn't. It's just making room to let us change. And as Mel Robbins said it so well, is we have to let them be, let the situation be, let it go. And then we can let me becoming, let me change my ways, let me choose to do something about it. And so that question of acceptance and surrender, it's what is still what guides me daily, you know, surrender on a daily manner, because I tend to overthink a lot, and that's
Never.
And so it's accepting, you know, it's in the past, and let's move forward one step at a time. Surrender and acceptance. So, yeah.
That's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and move on from the past of Restored and how it was built, how it came to be, and we're going to look forwards. We're going to look at the future for Restored. And of course, that's starting with your very well produced weekly series, Gathering Restored in the Workshop. But we want to let you know that this isn't just about restoration. It's about building up others and people part of the community.
Right.
So do you want to share a little bit about the future of Gathering Restored?
Yes. First of all, I'd like to thank you, my producer, along with your fiancé, Jacob. You guys do a great job. So let's take a moment to thank you guys for that. I appreciate it very much.
Do our best.
You sure are. I'm very grateful for that. But yes, absolutely. Well, as I work on furniture, there's a process, assessment, determine what you have to do. And I realize, you know, it's a journey. But as I came to that conclusion, I realized that restoration is everywhere. It's not just in restoring furniture or even spaces. It's in every field of life, you know, as a realtor, restoring a home for someone, bringing them a new house. In insurance, it can be restoring, you know, how a house was before it was there was a claim. In car, as a dentist, they do restoration. It's everywhere. When you look at it, it is kind of in every aspect of life, in every field of work. It's it can be in every community. It's about not promoting perfection, but honoring that process of restoration through life. And so as I realized that, I'm like, oh, you know what? I can share this message with people, but I can also have conversation with people such as you, Tona. We had
Tristan
who came, and, you know, they talked about their story of restoration, because we're not the only one. I'm not the only one that was in a season where all I could do was to smooth down my wall, and I had to know that that was enough. We all go through this process, and I just wanted to share the message, but I also wanted to hear what others had to say about restoration in their field of work. And at the same time, I'm promoting them and supporting their business, and that's what became the community along with restoration. And that's the beauty of it, is through pain, beauty comes about. And I'm very thankful for that. So I'm not here to convince anyone, you know, or just plead or let them see my story. I just want to witness what, you know, restoration is, and that you're never alone. They're never alone. We all go through the same thing. And I think that's what this is about. Right now, I'm going to ask you questions, Rebecca. Okay. It's your turn. You ready?
I am ready.
Okay. So you are kind of taking charge in the property management side of our business.
I am.
And I think it's a good segue to talk about restoration. Do you see it overlapping into the business that you're taking?
Well, I mean, the main thing that you can think of is the restoration of the homes that we do after someone moves out, doing the punch list and filling in holes in the wall, new light bulbs, things like that. But I think the more important part to me is kind of restoring the faith and view that people have in property managers, whether you're a tenant, a landlord, or even another realtor. Nobody really has a good representation of who property managers are, or do you have a good property management lead, because it's just shady, you know, they're really quick deals that can go through, just throw anyone into a house. But, you know, I like to be really thorough as to restore that view that people have in property managers and realtors in general. So
the integrity and loyalty that goes into it, and it's just putting someone else's best interest before your own. That's a good point. Thank you. So circling back to restoration and how Restored was created and that season that led to it. What was it like for you to watch that unfolding in front of your eyes, the months of smoothing down the walls?
It was kind of crazy, because, you know, seeing the woman that I grew up with, that she would always come in to check that our beds were made tight and taut, very organized, and everything happens at this hour of the day. Coming home, since I live on my own now, I'd come to her house and it would be 3 p.m. and she'd be smoothing down walls, and I'll ask, "Have you eaten today?" And she said, "Oh, look at the time, it's 3 p.m. and she'd been smoothing down her walls all day. So it was kind of weird to see how different you'd become just over the course of a few months, because it was a very instant and dramatic change. So
well, it was not an easy one, but I'm thankful for the smoothing down of the walls. It taught me a lot, all that does. And but anyway, do you think that people underestimate the emotional burnout in life? And have you experienced any?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people see emotional burnout as just being sad or depressed, but it doesn't just take a toll on your mind. It takes a really strong toll on your body. I mean, I experienced really bad emotional burnout in April last year, because ever since I met my now fiance, we'd never really been apart since pretty much the day we met, for more than a couple of days. And he left to go train for over a month in California, and I didn't really get to talk to him for a lot of that time. And I had a lot going on at work and school, so it was a really difficult time. And it really had a big effect on my habits and big toll on my body and my mentality, where the majority of the year I just wasn't myself after that, even whenever he did come back. So I completely understand where you were at to a certain extent.
Yeah. So it seems like you also experienced a moment of restoration. Did something change? How did you go about that? I mean, from the moment where you do experience emotional burnout to choosing restoration, did something happen?
I told myself to stop being a weak little and go back to the gym and start being happy again, because there's nothing keeping me from it. I have him back. Why am I being sorry for myself still living in that mentality that I was whenever he was gone? And I had a really hard time in my life whenever everything's going fine right now, and I have him back, and I'm perfectly capable to go back to the gym. I think that, and then telling myself to go back to the gym, were the two biggest things.
Yes.
So,
and that helped?
Yeah, the gym has always been the thing that's carried me through life.
I know, so. You're a gym rat.
Yeah.
And you're really good. I really like that. So, I think just, from learning also in the book, Let Them Theory, there's something, I don't know if it's her that said it, or I read another book where she said, when you are busy with your hands, your brain can no longer process the pain or the depression, because it's occupied doing something else. Therefore, we think, I'm not feeling well, let me wait until I feel better to do something. It's never going to happen, because what actually changes that state of mind is doing something to occupy, divert your attention. And so it's kind of powerful to know, don't wait until you feel better to do something and you will feel better, I think.
Yeah.
And so I guess, that's something I learned, and it was a good, refreshing moment, smoothing down the walls. But if someone your age, is watching today and is experiencing, whether it's an emotional burnout or depression or just feeling lonely, what would you tell them?
I would say do the thing that you've been wanting to do. I can promise you there's something, or at least one thing that you've been wanting to do that you're holding yourself back from saying, maybe I'll try that next week, or I'll start in January, or next month, whether it's eating right, going to the gym, trying a new hobby. It'll feel really silly at first. For example, I met this girl at a Christmas party, and she invited me to come to a handstand class.
Oh, I know that person.
Yeah, and I said,
handstand?
Okay. And this was the time that my fiance was gone, so I'm like, what do I have to lose? Maybe I'll make a friend at least. And the day that I was supposed to go, I came back from a showing, and I was waiting for her to pick me up, and I'm like, Rebecca, you're so stupid. Why are you doing this? This is so silly. You've never done anything. You didn't do gymnastics. How are you going to do this? And, since April, I've been going to class and I've been practicing, and it's something that I love now. So if it's just literally try everything, everything you've been wanting to do, everything you're hesitant to do, things that people invite you to do, you might find something you love, or just gain experience that you can carry on to the next thing. So I think exactly what you said, where working with your hands or doing something productive really helps you pull yourself out of that state, even if it's just for 30 minutes. You know?
I like that. Thank you for sharing. And, you're becoming really good at handstand. I think it has to do a lot with the teacher, too.
Oh, yeah, she's awesome. You might meet this person soon.
Pretty soon. But I think also, from watching you, you've gained a friend.
I have, yeah. Best friend.
And so that's step. It takes courage to do something you're not used to do. Putting yourself out there, and like you said, I'm so stupid, why am I doing that? But you took that step, did something that you're actually really good at, you enjoy, and you made a friend.
Yeah, and even if you see someone like me, I'm a very confident person who I'll try anything, I'll
that's true.
Try anything once, He's looking at me because I'm a picky eater. But, I'll try anything. And, even those people still have doubts and,
That's
think
true.
it's silly or, even the most confident person still has doubts in their mind.
Well, yes. Mel Robbins. We've been talking about her. Thank you for all your tips. Again, Mel Robbins, we love you.
We do.
I mean, but I'm sure she has doubt.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she shared it. And she would just, she's just like us. But yet she took a step, and after that, then another step and another step, and being consistent and just sticking with it. And it's been like more than a year now that you're doing handstand. And so I see a huge difference as well.
You.
So, and it's just a way we're not perfect. We don't have it all together, but it's one step after another, trusting the process and sharing. I feel like, when I share with you or the other people and with you guys, is that sharing that we struggle. We all struggle. It's difficult. We all have moments where you just want to give up, but there's this little voice that says, no one is coming to rescue you. And you make the choice to take one step at a time and share it with others. Not to convince them, but just to witness that restoration is possible, healing is possible. You just have to be willing.
Yeah. So if you had someone who's feeling lost right now, or if someone's watching and they feel lost, what would you tell them?
I would look at them in the eyes, like I'm doing right now, and I would say, you don't need all the answers. You don't need a plan. You don't even need someone else's permission. All you really need to do is just take a step. One small step. For me, it was getting out of bed and just keep walking, keep hoping, and trust. For me, trust in my faith and in God, because God didn't restore overnight. And I'm not telling you that I'm fully restored, but what I know is that God restores in layers, one layer at a time, not overnight. And so if all you can do today is smooth down the wall, then that's enough. And that you are not too far gone. You're not broken. You're not behind. And you are not alone. So just know that you are not alone. There are people out there, and I'm one of them. If you ever need someone, just reach out. I have my social media. You can follow me and just share your story. We're here. And that's it. You're not alone. You're too far, not too far behind, not broken. There's always hope.
Amen.
And with that being said, keep creating,
Keep gathering,
keep believing,
and keep restoring.
and keep restoring. Yes.
We're out.
Peace. Bye.